someone is just like, hold on, I want to like get to know you before we can like kind of do other things. I'm not saying that they don't want to, but it's going to take a longer than what you're feeling currently. That it's not going to happen overnight. Although yes, it can be a very exciting situation. I just think that you need to slow it down and savor the moment and enjoy yourself and have as much fun as possible.
Right.
And really getting to know the other person.
And Drita?
And for me, it's like it's a mutual decision as you go forward in it. That I feel you will get the house and you get the life you were planning to have with this guy. But think long term and just, as Tammy said, go and steady and, get to know him, go slow. And you'll
enjoy
get
it, savor it, yeah.
Yes, just don't rush into it. Just like take your time to get to know, to have fun. Because once you get the house and kids, and you get busy, and then you forget each other, and you start getting into resentment phases. So that's my intake on that. And Dorothy?
Thank you so much. You know what? I've got almost have a horror feeling anytime somebody says, I've met my twin flame, because usually that means you've met somebody and you don't know them very well, and you're applying what is a relatively modern terminology to something. I'm going to give a little lecture, so everybody get ready.
Okay.
Yeah. When I go back to when I was learning and developing spiritually, it's my thing. Come on, let me do it.
I know.
It's my thing. So when you go back, it was all soulmates. Everything was soulmates. The teachers, the books, the higher ups, people that were in the business for 20 years before I even started, 30 years, everything was about the soulmate. You meet your soulmate and that's it. You're bashing together and it's this perfect relationship, and it's your relationship for life. If not perfect, definitely for life. Then all of these teachers, and I do mean just about all of them, had their relationship starting to break down. They were moving into a second relationship, and it was almost like there was a sudden gathering. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? We can't call this a soulmate. Then they started sort of backtracking the soulmate. A soulmate can be a life lesson, and da-da-da. It can be the completion of a past life. All of this stuff got wrapped up in it because they were putting too much pressure on the spiritual connection without considering life and reality. The second thing that they did was they brought in the word twin flame, because twin flames magically had breakups built into it. Twin flames are a really hard relationship to have. Two twin flames or twin flames coming together might happen only once in a lifetime, but it mightn't happen till you're 80. All the relationships that break down before that are not twin flame relationships, or if they are, they can't be had again, and so on and so on. It just got so complicated. So I really love to say, forget the twin flame word and terminology. Hate me if you like, I don't care. But at the end of it all, everybody that falls in love feels great. Isn't that true? Yes.
Yes.
You feel great
Without the term.
without the term, without the rest of it. Now, good relationships don't come from soulmates energy or twin flame energy. It comes from two people putting in the effort and loving the other person and wanting the other person to be happy. What goes wrong spiritually is I hear so many women, and the truth is it's the majority is women, like 95% of my business is women, saying to me, I want somebody to make me happy. Well, stuff you. You don't deserve a good relationship till you want to make somebody else happy. That's what I've got to say. That's my lecture.
Thank you. Actually, I like that a lot.
Thank you.
The only person that can make you happy is look in the mirror. It's you.
It's you. And if you want to share that,
with somebody else.
exactly. If you want to share that with somebody else and you want them to be happy, you will always consider them. You may not consider them always before you, but what will come down to it is if your actions or your words are genuinely making them unhappy, you will change your actions or your words. The word genuine matters, and if they are the same with you, if their interest is your happiness, then it becomes a mutually empowering relationship. And those are the relationships that last for a very long time happily. I say happily because there are relationships that last a long time unhappily. And so it's understanding that the idea of a relationship isn't until you're prepared to do what's necessary to make it a good one. That doesn't involve a house, a car, or kids until you feel that will be better for you as a couple. A lot of women start nagging at men to get pregnant, if you like, not because of their time or body clock going, I'd sit there and I go, there's two people on a different page each. He doesn't want to do it. He's resisting. Her happiness is not his priority. His lifestyle is. And so we start looking at these things and developing and growing and understanding. So the way to have a great relationship, said the single woman who loves being single, is, that's right, I love being single. I love my freedom. Too much, if you could say that. But one of the things about that is that when you know that your consideration for another person, whether it's your friend or whether it's your partner, the only way that that's going to go on happily for a really long time is when you are interested in their happiness, not just your own. So I want to put that there. Hiya, Karen. For you, Jessica, now the actual reading part after the lecture is I do think that you're in this relationship for quite a while, possibly a few years. I'm not going to go beyond that because things vary and change, because that very simple thing. Love doesn't make a relationship last. Plenty of people that are in love have been in love, end their relationship because they don't know how to have a relationship. So I suggest that you focus on that side of it when you get past the honeymoon phase, the fun phase, all the good stuff, which you should just be enjoying. And then you get to a position where you start talking. Please note the word talking is two people talking, not I feel, I think, I envision. Because you could have all of those things with another person when you're the one envisioning it. I'm just being clear here. I had a client years ago, girls. This is to, everybody but Tammy.
Oh, we all done that.
Tammy and Drita. No, this one was a goodie. She got in touch with me for years, probably over a period of about 4 years. She'd get in touch with me every 4 or 5 months. And she was in love with this guy who she'd never met. She saw him in her twin flame zone. In her mind, every night they communicated. Every night she would have these dreams with him, and he would tell her how he felt about her and all of this stuff. It was a fake relationship. He worked in her building. He saw her. He said hello to her. They never had one conversation. No matter how many times I tried to tell her that unless he's actually speaking to you, you're not actually having a relationship, then, until you get to that point, what you're doing is, and she wasn't a crazy person, but what she was doing is she was buying into something that wasn't real, and she was encouraged in that. She would tell me, other readers say he's my twin flame. I'm like, really? And 4 years later, by the way, she met another man and started a relationship. It was not that guy. As it turned out, he was married, he had 4 kids, and he was happy. He was never leaving. So it becomes, keep it real, and you will probably do a whole lot better. I'll also say something else too. If you put too much pressure on a relationship before it's developed foundations, it almost 100% of the time will tip over. And I will say this for everybody listening at any time, no matter where you are. I have more inquiries from younger women, in particular up to 35 or so, sometimes a bit older, but not often, about the twin flame that's ignoring them, not returning their messages, not having anything to do with them, then you've had hot water drinks in the last 6 months. So I just thought I'd mention that. So keep it real. Keep it seamless.
Thanks for clarifying that. That is such a needed message to be heard, because I have the same thing happening with me. It's lots of times with my clients, same thing. Right,
exactly right. And so, we should probably, when it comes to astral travel, we've done our chips a little bit. I just wanted to mention an experience I had quite young. Hiya, Karen. Good to see you there. Quite young. One of the things that happened to me when I was about 14 was this is the first what I would consider sort of spiritual thing, but it turns out to be astral travel. I do not consider astral projection to be spiritual. I consider it to be a part of the human psyche and a consciousness that we can all engage. And there's quite a bit of study around this, which we again will look at a future show. We'll revisit some of these subjects in a different way because they're big subjects. But I had this experience for quite some time where I would be just drifting off to sleep, which to start with made me think it was just that. You get into the zone and you're starting to doze a little bit. But I hadn't quite got to the dozing bit, and then I would suddenly jump. And I would feel like I was going to hit the ceiling, and I'd be looking at it right in front of me, and boom, I'd be back in bed. Only I wasn't thinking of it as being out of body, in body. It just didn't make sense to me, to be honest. And you didn't talk to anybody about stuff like that, or I certainly didn't. Anyway, so that was okay. That would happen to me every time I slept on my back. I mean, every time. From that day, from the first day forward, for easy a year or so, any time I slept on my back. And so gradually I more and more slept on my side. And in the end, I slept on my stomach completely, 100% of the time, slept on my stomach. because any time that I was on my back, this would happen. Always about the same time, just before I was drifting off. Every single time, I would be just staring at the ceiling and freak out. And I'd be like an inch off the ceiling, sort of nose 1 inch. And so that was my first real experience. It was many, many years before I actually saw the words astral travel and read all of the scary stuff about it and thought, thank God I jumped back into my body, sort of a thing. Then I got past all of that and got a little bit braver, started my own spiritual journey, if you like, and I can remember thinking, I really want to do that again, because, it was obviously what was going on. And so I spent a lot of effort and time trying to project, trying to separate from my body, or using my consciousness to shift out of my body. And so as it came to it, I one day, I could feel everything sort of vibrating. My whole body, everything was just like humming. And I thought, humming's good. You're in a good spot. And I wasn't unconscious, and I wasn't in a deep meditation. I had deliberately relaxed and deliberately focused. And then all of a sudden, I felt something. Don't you laugh at me, you girls. I felt something behind me, right, which should have been the bed I was laying on. I felt something behind me, and I freaked out. I thought, oh, my God, there's something behind me. And then as I relaxed, I realized it was my body. I had probably projected, I would say, maybe 2 inches or 3 inches up. And I could actually get a sense of my body being behind me, which was phenomenal, but I freaked totally out. I just totally freaked out.
Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. And part of that was because I'd read all those scary stories, you see. But then when it was straight away I realised it was my body. As soon as I got into it, I realised, I was actually up and I'd sunk back down. That sensation, all of that was there. So I thought that was pretty fantastic. And, of course, I had no trouble after that. But the fear can hold you back on a lot of things. And that was a really interesting thing. When it comes to astral projection, we are going to move on to Drita's segment for the mystery, fact or fiction. But I want to finish up with saying we will revisit this again. There's been a lot of science, a lot of study around the DMT molecule. I put it in my Sacred Souls cards. It's that important. But now Drita is bringing us her mystery, fact or fiction. Fire up there, Drita, baby.
And the mystery, fact or fiction for this week is the mystery of Oak Island in Nova Scotia. So this started with 2 young boys that found a pit with blocks of tackle. Blocks and tackle. So what happened this happened in 19th century. A number of attempts have been to locate the treasure. So I think it's a pirates. They came from the ocean and buried a treasure on this island. So lots of people been trying to kind of dig, and lots of people been killed trying to get it and try to find it. And it has its own TV show now. So it started in early 1790s to 1857. So that's how long it has been started. So they have found in that island, they found coins, they found Shakespearean, like the Shakespearean, what is it called, text and all that.
Writing.
So this is in Nova Scotia. It's all about half an hour away from me. People are going there. They've been digging.
Do they find stuff?
So they're finding all kinds of stuff. They are finding coins. They are the scroll of the Shakespearean scroll. They found that.
Okay.
So they've been finding all kinds of little things.
And so, what do they think happened? Sorry, can you clarify?
So they think there's a ship where years ago that brought about $2 million worth of coins and hid it on it.
Oh, so was it a pirate ship or?
So there are like 3 families actually completely, because the sea levels at that time used to be a lot lower than they are now.
Diggers.
It is gold diggers, but they open tunnels. So imagine that how many years ago was that, and the sea level was really low. So what's happening right now? They're going and digging pits, but the sea level has rise, so they don't know where it's at. So and then the water comes in through the tunnels and drowns them in. So that's how people are losing their lives in there.
Oh my goodness! So how many people do they say? How many people have died looking for the treasure, or is that not a figure that you've got?
It is about 7 or 8 people so far.
Wow!
Like 4 in one family, yeah.
Wow.
What's the name of this place? I'm gonna get me a ticket.
Oak Island Mystery.
Oak Island.
Go ahead,
Oak Island, everybody.
I should have taken you to it, Dorothy.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'll be back. So I think
you come back,
I'm just telling everybody it's Oak Island. So that's going to be quite funny. We'll all descend and they'll say, "Where did you hear about this?" Oh, it's Psychic Co-op on air on Facebook.
We just fell in one of the wells of Oak Island. Where do
Yeah.
they go? From Mandarin, so you don't have to go to Gran